Hi there, welcome back to Downstairs and Dragons, where we play D&D in our basement as per tradition. Of course, you can play wherever you want and with whoever you want and however you want. Unfortunately, how we played episodes 41, 42, 43 was without any audio because I forgot to do a sound test and thought everything would be okay. So that is completely my fault. I am so sorry. The good news is, maybe some of you disagree with me, but the good news is it was after our skill challenge was complete. After we learned everything we needed to about the meenlocks in the cave. So the next 3 episodes I'm going to page through really quickly for you are all the fight scenes. I'm going to give you just a really quick summary of what was going on in those 3 episodes. And then when you pick up episode 44, there will be audio again and role play. So let's head over to our recordings. Again, there is no audio, so you're just going to see the older, or I would say the younger me, giving her intro and explaining that we had just finished the skill challenge. We know that there were 6 meenlocks, 3 that would go into the city and 3 that would stay in the caves. So the party wasn't really able to come up with a plan. They hadn't really decided if they were going to try and bait the meenlocks into the cave and then blow it up. They just decided to go have a long rest in the manor. So while they were having their long rest in the manor here, I had the meenlocks approach the manor. And our friends here were able to notice that one of them was in fact climbing up the side of the building. By the time they got upstairs, it had already broken into one of the windows and was hiding in a bedroom. They had to break through the door, and they had to fight this meenlock indoors. What they were able to see of these meenlocks right away is that they had a very human-like appearance, as if they had not fully transformed because they weren't in the Feywild gaining that magic of the realm. So they were still very human-like and still pretty young, as a human-made meenlock can really only live as long as a human would live. If anything, maybe 10 to 20 years. And they would still require a food source. So, with these meenlocks being weaker than anticipated, our party was able to take it down very quickly, and they were doing a lot of fire bolts and fire blasting double taps as fast as they could. So there was a lot of fire magic being used in these fights. Clay was very freaked out. He was very worried he was going to have to kill his grandmother. But every single meenlock they encountered was in fact not his great-grandmother. There's no way she would have survived all this time as a meenlock. So as they fight the ones in the manor, they eventually have to continue on. Oh, wrong screen. Goodness gracious. Okay, so after fighting the ones in the manor, they go and they try to fight the others outside. They're doing this right at sunrise, so the meenlocks have run into the manor to get around away from the sunlight, and they're able to trap them in there and kill them. So with it being easier than they anticipated, now they felt comfortable going into the caves and fighting the ones that are hiding out in the caves. So we are going to skip now to episode 42. And this is where they delve deep into the caves during the daytime, when they expect that these meenlocks will be in here. Once they're in here, they realize that one of the meenlocks that they were able to bring out by taking all of their torchlight down, this meenlock looks more traditionally accurate. So this one may genuinely have survived all of these decades, or it could be one that has come over from the Feywild. We don't really know. All we know is more accurate to a true meenlock, and therefore is stronger, but smaller, as it has shrunk to a size of maybe 2-3 feet. Even so, these meenlocks weren't necessarily slaughtering our friends. They were doing a lot of damage. Gumbo was jumped on, slashed down, but the meenlocks, as soon as they started taking more damage, tried to escape further into the caves. Now, if you remember in the last couple episodes, there was a part of the caves that was full of ponds and stalagmites and stalactites. So they had to very carefully maneuver between the ponds. The reason that the meenlocks ran into this room is because they start throwing rocks into these ponds of black water, which we soon realize is because they are trying to wake up these ponds to be allies in the fight. What rises out of the ponds are big black puddings, tons of them, and anyone could see that this would be a deadly encounter for the party. They easily turn it to their side by throwing the meenlock bodies into the black puddings to be devoured instead, which calms them. So this starts to become a fight of carefully balancing, not hitting the black puddings, and throwing the enemies into them. So, with those three meenlocks fighting over who is going to be eaten by black puddings, we are moving on to episode 43. Episode 43. This is where they are cleaning up the mess. They are very carefully escaping the black pudding room. They are making sure there are no meenlocks anywhere. They are saying goodbye to the town by gathering up their animals, gathering up the old artwork possessions that belong to Clay and his family, and they plan on bringing all of these things down the hill to Placemirror. So unfortunately we did lose a little bit of roleplay here that I'm about to explain. So there were oftentimes lots of people who would try to go to Vermilion because they would try and think like, oh, it's a ghost town, that's fine, all the other dangerous things are just rumors. So we actually see that. We see a pair of goblins climbing the mountain, and they immediately are like, hello cousin, to Gumbo. And they explain that they are actually heading to Vermilion because they heard that there's a portal to the Feywild nearby, and they believe that goblins were once Fey. They start trying to sell Gumbo on how the reason goblins are so different from a lot of the other races here is because they actually are from the Unseelie Court of Fey, that they belong in a place that has much stronger smells, much stronger feelings, much different approaches to the way of living, and a better communal understanding of the gross and the decaying. So they are headed to the Feywild to find their original Fey-like roots, and Gumbo immediately rejects this idea. He finds it actually kind of sickening that he may be like other goblins like this, that he may be so gross in fact that they feel that they are separated from the other races on the prime material. So he starts questioning what it means to be a goblin to him, and what kind of goblin does he want to be. Does he want to be so traditional that he works a lot like his cousin does with the more gross substances of the world, or does he want to be a little bit more like the other races and mellow out his instincts? So this roleplay was short, but it was kind of important for Gumbo to start having an identity, because you know he is so interested in making friends and knowing about their way of life. So now as we finally make it down to Placemirror, Clay gets to say hi to his family. The great-grandmother is brought to see him and the things that he has brought home. Or his grandmother, I'm sorry. His grandmother, who is the daughter of the great-grandmother who died in Vermilion. He is able to give some of these possessions over, some of the money that he has found, and they have a great big feast of his entire family, plus Doric, plus Gumbo. They're able to stay here. They're able to just kind of touch base and say goodbye as Clay explains, yes, I have solved the mystery of the curse on our farmland, but there may still be something wrong with me. I am going to move on. This is also when he touches base with his sister again, who, as we now know, can also do all of the same monk skills that he can, and so can his mother, and so could his grandmother, and then the great-grandmother that was in Vermilion. So he is learning that he is of a long line of people who have this innate ability to reach out to their key and work with their monk disciplines. So with him touching base with his family in Placemirror, it is still time to head back to Candlekeep. The party gathers up their items, they travel, They go past where there were fires. They go past where there were the bees, the wasps that would listen to rumors and repeat them. They go past Nashkel, which was the mining town where they could sell a lot of the stuff that they found. I believe the next episode picks up between Nashkel and Baragost. It actually might be right after Baragost. But you will see that in episode 44, which we are going to upload with this video, so you're not left with just the 10 minutes I was talking at you. So I am so sorry for missing the audio on those videos. It has taught us a lesson, and we are hopefully never going to have it happen again. Hopefully, and not hopefully, it's just a technical difficulty next time. So, with the mic working, we are going to go record more episodes. Please have fun playing D&D. Thank you for watching our D&D, and we hope to see you next time on Downstairs and Dragons. Thank you so much.